The president needed to pick the side that he needed. And what he needed was these organizations unto themselves are going to have to perform for the president. And you just cannot come in and let an organization go without knowing what you're doing and what the needs are. And this is where I spoke very cleanly about we need all the government workers to come back. We need to know who's going to be there because we have to make it work. And that's the side that Donald Trump has now come to. Okay, secretaries, you got to make this work.
Now, isn't there an opportunity in that, John, to instead of what I'm hearing from you members of your party in Congress, which is, nah, we told you, isn't there an opportunity to get on board and say, all right, you want to go through the agencies, you have to come to us for a lot of the power of the purse allocations, even with the Rescission Act. You're going to come to us, and now it's a time to be constructive.
Well, Pete is absolutely right. There is an appropriate way to deal with it. Waste, fraud, and abuse. We've been talking about that for at least the last 60 years, and there is. There is waste, there is fraud, and there's certainly abuse. And there's a process set out by law that provides the necessary mechanisms to get at it. The problem that we've been facing for the last month and a half is Elon Musk and his chainsaw approach to it. You've got to be thoughtful. Now, I actually did this in the 1990s when I was Deputy Secretary at the Department of Interior with Bill Clinton reinventing government. We downsized, reformed, and reorganized the Department of Interior, 10,000 employees, 1/10 of the employees, and it was far more efficient at the end. We did the homework. We looked at what needed to be done, what was happening, where there were opportunities to do it better, and then we took that solution to Congress in the various laws that provide for the reorganization. And it worked. It worked all across government. But it takes thought and it takes understanding. It does not take a chainsaw, which actually creates enormous problems.
All right, well, let's stick with the chainsaw for a second. Staffing, to me, is a red herring. This is about spending. And coming in the up-budget negotiation, I don't believe that you guys are boxed out. I think there's a really good chance that the Republicans are going to need Democrats to make a deal. I really do. But are Democrats willing to not use the McConnell playbook of just oppose at every opportunity and actually work with the Republicans, even if it would mean Trump getting credit for a budget that is balanced for the first time in 20 years?
Well, that credit would be shared with everybody in Congress, Democrat and Republican, along the way if that were to happen. The problem is that the proposals that are now before the Congress really don't do that. They actually will increase the deficit. Very complex. As of today, apparently negotiations totally broke down between the Democrats and the Republicans. It will probably, and it should resume over the weekend. Yes, I suspect that the Republican, and Pete can speak to this much more clearly than I can, will ultimately not be able to gather the necessary votes on their side, and they will come to the Democrats, as has happened repeatedly over the last 2 years. We really must work together. We can, and there are solutions. We share, I think, a common desire to make this government work effectively, efficiently, and to eliminate problems that are not necessary.
Pete, give me a last word on what you think the upcoming budget. Do you think it's going to be just a short-term CR kind of deal, or do you think there's a chance that you actually go through all the allocations?
First thing I'd say is that every single one of us needs to be responsible for our vote. And I believe that there are parties that are there for a reason, but I think that it will pass. And I think that the greater good is what we will think that we're seeing from this. And the greater good will be that we do see where this government, meaning Elon Musk, yes, Donald Trump, yes, but has cut out or found what they think is an incredible amount of savings that were under what could be waste, fraud, and abuse. And we all see it. But we're going to have to move forward. And what we're trying to do is fund the government at the levels that were last year. That's all we're doing is we're continuing it forward. We're not changing the policies.
Should be before the pandemic.
Are we going to make a few changes? Yes, we've got to fund a couple things that came up. or that have come up. But I think this is something where both Republicans and Democrats could get together and we say it's a compromise.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.